Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Style in V, and this is a tutorial of how to make this side ruched bubu dress with an inner belt on it. So if it's something you're interested in, kindly stay tuned and watch to the end of this video. So in order for us to make this bubu dress, you'll be needing about 2.5 yards of crepe fabric, or even 3 yards, okay, depending on how full and how long you want it to be. So this is a flower crepe. And the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to fold it into 4, because I'll be cutting both the front and back piece together. So I'll fold the lengthy side into 2, and after that I'll go ahead and fold the width of it, okay, into 2 like this, as you can see right here. So let's start the drafting process. So I'll go ahead and take a neck width of 3.5 inches like this, and also a neck depth of 3.5 inches. I'll be cutting both the front and back neck widths together like this, okay. So I'll just go ahead and give it a round shape like this, as you can see me doing. So the next thing for me to do is to take half of my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16 and divided by 2, I'll go ahead and mark 8 inches, and from this 8 inches I'll go ahead and determine how long I want the sleeve to be. So I'll be using a sleeve length of 18 inches starting from my shoulder measurement, and I'll add 1 inch for hemming allowance, okay. So the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch. That is where the sleeve length ends. I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll connect it to meet the neck width like this, okay. I'll just go ahead and connect it to meet the neck width. So sorry guys, this wasn't visible enough. I'm using a yellow chalk, so it's not really visible on this dress. So the next thing I'll do is to determine how open I want the sleeve to be. So I'll be using 8 inches as my sleeve opening, and I'll just go ahead and mark. So from this sleeve opening line, I'll go ahead and connect the sleeve opening to meet the sleeve length, okay, like this. And the next thing for me to do is to come in by 2 inches from the sleeve opening, and I'll go ahead and give it a C curve like this. I'll go ahead and give it a C curve and take whatever I have down to meet the hem line of my dress, okay. So now the next thing I will do is to measure whatever I have from the midpoint of my fabric to meet the sleeve opening right here. That is on this mark that I rule here. I'll just go ahead and measure whatever I have, and I'll take the measurement down to meet the hem of my dress, okay. So I'm using a length of 50 inches, and I added 2 extra inches for hemming allowance. So I'll just go ahead and trim off the neckline and also the shoulder slope. So when cutting the shoulder slope, I left about 1/2 inch for joining of the shoulder, okay. So this is what we have, and I also go ahead and cut the shape of the dress, okay, that we marked earlier like this. Sorry guys, this wasn't visible, I am so sorry. So I'll just go ahead and cut it like this, as you can see me doing. So this is a free gown, so it's not supposed to be tight because you're using a belt on it, and it's also a bubu dress, okay. So guys, this is what we have right here. So the next thing for us to do is to determine where we want our belt to be. So the belt will be on your waistline or on your underbust line, okay. And to get this from the shoulder, you just go ahead and mark your half length. So I'll just go ahead and mark it like this, as you can see me doing right here. Now I don't like my belt to be on the waistline. I want it to be like in between my underbust and my half length. So what I'll do is that I will come up by 2 inches from my half length. Yes, I'll go ahead and come up by 2 inches from my half length. Now you are doing this on the front part of your dress, okay, on the front part of your dress please, and not on the back. So I'll just go ahead and divide my waist circumference by 4, and I'll mark, okay. That is on the 2 inches that I came up by. I'll go ahead and divide my waist circumference by 4, and I'll hold this side with a pin so that I'll be able to mark the other side of the dress. Remember, we are putting 2 belts, that is, we are sewing 2 belts on the waistline, okay. So I'll just go ahead and use my chalk to mark where the pin is So one belt will be on one side and the other belt will be on the other side. Okay, so I forgot to remove my back piece of this dress. I'll just go ahead and remove the back piece of this dress, and let's work on the ruched casing. Okay, so the next thing for you to do is to determine where you want your casing to be. That is, you open it up and you check where you want your casing to be, if you want it to be on the left side or on the right side, before doing any further measurements. Okay, so I've gone ahead to like note where I want my ruched casing to be. So I want mine to be on the left side of my front dress. Okay, that's on the good face of the front dress. Then I'll just go ahead and fold it like this, and on the wrong face of this dress, where I have my half length, that is my half length, not the one I came up by 2 inches, my initial half length that I marked earlier, that is where my casing will be starting from. So from this point, I'll just go ahead and mark my nipple to nipple plus 2 inches. Okay, my nipple to nipple plus 2 inches. That was what I marked from this midpoint right here. And from this point, whatever I have from my midpoint to whatever I get, I'll just go ahead and mark it straight down to meet the hem of my dress. Okay, so my nipple to nipple is 4 inches, then plus 2 inches is 6 inches. Okay, so I'm marking 6 inches from the midpoint of my dress like this. Okay, to meet the hemline like this, as you can see me doing right here. So another method for you to do this, for you to get your ruched casing side, is to like come in by 2 inches from your waist circumference. Okay, so that's just where your ruched casing will start from. So the next thing for me to do is to cut out my ruched casing that I'll be placing on this front fabric. So I went ahead to cut a width of 2 inches, and the length I made it very long here, so that I will not have shortage of the casing. Okay, so I made it very long, so I'll open up my fabric like this, so that I'll be able to place my casing. So this is the casing. Like I said earlier, the width is 2 inches, and I went ahead to fold it by 0.25 inches on both sides, and I ironed it. Okay, 0.25 inches on both sides, and I ironed it from the top to the end of it. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and place it on this casing line that we marked earlier. Okay, I'll just go ahead and place it on this casing line that we marked earlier. Before then, I will fold it into 2 and notch the midpoint, because we'll sew on that midpoint. Okay, you'll be sewing 3 lines on this casing like this. Okay, so you just go ahead and arrange it first like this. Okay, you go ahead and arrange it like this, as you can see me doing right here. So before I'll start sewing, so the next thing for us to do is to sew on this folded part. Yes, on this edge, you go ahead and sew to meet the hemline. Also on the other side, you go ahead and sew to meet the hemline, and also on the midpoint. Okay, yes, on the midpoint, you go ahead and sew on the midpoint of the casing to meet the hemline. So that means you're making 3 lines. You'll be sewing on the 2 edge and also on the midpoint. Okay, like this, as you can see me showing you guys right here. So guys, I am done sewing, and this is what we have. So I left about 1 inch space, yes, so that I'll be able to turn my fabric here. So my casing ends at 1 inches above the hemline of my dress. So I've also gone ahead to sew a very long rope. I made it so tiny so that it will be able to pass through my casing. Okay, I made it so tiny so that it will be able to pass through my casing. I just want to make a very long rope, so I'll go ahead and pass it from one casing, and I'll turn it to come out on the other casing. Okay, I'll turn it to come out on the other casing. So guys, let me show you guys how to do it. So I'll be placing my safety pin on it, so then I'll go ahead and pass it from one casing. Okay, like this. So remember what I said, please make your rope tiny so that it will be able to pass through your casing. So I'll just go ahead and pass it from one casing like this. As you're passing it, you'll be shifting it like this. Okay, then you drag it very well, then you turn it to so that you'll be able to pass it through the second casing like this, as you can see me doing right here. Just go ahead and pass it through the second casing like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. So as you're passing it, you'll be dragging it. Yes, you'll be dragging it like this, okay, as you can see me doing. So this is what we have. So you can see the ruched effect is already taking place even when we are not done yet. So this is one of the easiest method for you to do your side roast, okay. So this is what we have. So you can see the ruched effect here. You just go ahead and draw it if you want your ruched to take place, okay. You just go ahead and draw it. So I'll be opening this up right here because we're not done. So the next thing for me to do is knot the hem, that is not the edge of the rope. Yes, so that our rope will not be able to go inside. Yes, so I'll just go ahead and knot the edge of the rope. I'll tie it very well. Yes, I'll do the same thing to the two sides. So I noticed my rope was a kind of long, so I went ahead to reduce it. So I'll go ahead and knot it like this, as you can see me doing right here, okay. So this is it. So guys, I am done, and the next thing for me to do is to fix the rope, okay. So remember the mark that we marked earlier, that is our waist circumference divided by 4 that we took earlier. So I'll just go ahead and place the rope on each side, okay. So for this rope, I went ahead to cut a very long rope and a width of 2 inches to unfold. So that's just what I did. So you can go ahead and do a tiny rope if you want. So I'll just go ahead and place it on that place that we marked earlier, that is our waist divided by 4 that we marked earlier. I'll just go ahead and place my rope on one side like this, and also on the other side, okay. I'll just go ahead and place them like this, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will sew, okay. Now once you sew the both of them together, and the next thing for us to do is to place in our bias. So guys, I am done sewing the 2 ropes together on each side, and I'll just go ahead and sew my bias on the neckline, both on the front piece and also on the back piece, okay, like this, as you can see me showing you guys right here. So guys, I am done sewing the bias on the neckline like this, okay. The next thing for us to do is to join our shoulder, and we'll place the front of our back piece to meet the front of our front piece right here, okay. And joining the neckline and shoulders together, I'll just go ahead and hold it on with a pin before sewing it, okay, so that it will not shift. Yes, so I'll just go ahead and hold it with a pin and I will sew, okay. So with 1/2 inch, whatever I do to one side, I'll do it to the other side, okay, like this. So guys, when I'm done sewing the shoulder, I'll also go ahead and fold that is to hem the sleeve opening. I'll go ahead and hem the sleeve opening like this. And guys, I am done joining the shoulder and also hemming the sleeve opening like this, as you can see me doing. So the next thing for me to do is to shape, and I'll just go ahead and shape with 1 inches, okay. I'll just go ahead and shape from the sleeve opening right here. I'll go ahead and shape it with 1 inch to meet the hem of the gown, okay, like this, as you can see me doing. I'll just go ahead and sew it straight down. Whatever I do to one end, I'll do it to the other end like this, okay. And when I'm done, I'll also go ahead and hem the lower part of the dress, that is the hemline of the dress, okay. So guys, I am done shaping, and this is what we have, okay. So the next thing for me to do is to hem the lower part of the dress, and I'll just go ahead and hem it like this and sew it round. So guys, I am done, and this is what we have, okay. So you can see the final outfit like this. Also went ahead to sew a pants